Now I'm going to show you some other image adjustments that you can make inside of Photoshop. So if you go up to the top and you click on image, you can see that we have adjustments here with all kinds of different settings: brightness and contrast, levels, curves, vibrance, hue and saturation, posterize, threshold, and so much more. There's also a couple auto adjustments that you can make, such as auto toning your image, auto contrast, and auto color. You can give those a shot, but I recommend that you learn how to make adjustments on your own. And I'm going to show you how to make some of those adjustments, but for the sake of this course, we're not going to take a look at every single one of these because it'll just become a little too long and drawn out. I'll show you a lot of them, but things like the channel mixer, color lookup, HDR toning, match color, replace color, I'm not going to go real deep into those as I do use them, but I don't find myself using them as often as something like levels and curves. So let me show you the basics of these, and then you can always check Adobe's documentation later on, or their website or online video tutorials to go over ones that I don't cover here. So the first one is going to be the brightness and contrast, and that's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. I click on that, it brings up a dialog box, and we can adjust how bright or dark the image is and how contrast or how much contrast isn't in the image. We can also click the auto button. We can use the old legacy behaviors, and we can also tell if we want to see a preview of this or not. Typically, you're going to want to see that preview, so we'll leave that checked. And brightness is exactly how it sounds. If I turn this up, the image is going to get brighter, and as we bring that down, the image is going to get darker. Same thing with the contrast. We can move the contrast up, and it's going to make those colors pop and have more higher contrast between the color pixels there, or we can get rid of the contrast and it'll look really faded. And doing so will allow you to adjust these and adjust your photograph or image however you see fit. And this is going to be on a per layer level. And sometimes you'll want to create duplicates of your layer and adjust these. So for instance, if we take this background layer and we drop it onto the new icon, it's going to make a duplicate for us. And then what happens is we can adjust this duplicate that we created if we go to Image, Adjustments, Brightness and Contrast, and maybe we want to make those grapes pop but the background not pop. So we could bring up the brightness and we could bring up the contrast and really give it a nice vibrant color and hit OK. But however, we don't want that background to be popping. We just want these grapes. So now we would remove this background to show the other background underneath, or the other layer that's underneath it that hasn't been adjusted. So let's go ahead and select this, and we can do this a couple different ways. We can use a selection, or we can just use the eraser tool, which we will do here. Let's pick the eraser tool, and this isn't going to look perfect. This is just for demonstration purposes to show you some things you can do. And we will just go ahead and start erasing here. And this isn't going to look perfect, but this is just for demonstration purposes. And what we're doing is we're erasing this part of the image that is the top layer, and it's revealing the layer that's underneath it, which is our original image, but we didn't make any adjustments. So that's why that part of the image looks more desaturated. So let's just go ahead and shrink this down, and I'm just going to do this real quick. Again, this is for demonstration purposes. I'm not even using my tablet. I just have my mouse, and I'm just kind of going around. And again, there's different ways that we could erase this out. We could have used a selection or the magic wand tool, or any of the other tools that we know of how to delete out the background, but that's a quick and simple way of showing this to you. So now what we have here is, if I hide both of these layers, we have the top layer, and this is the one that we actually adjusted. This is the one where we brought up the brightness and the contrast, and then we went in and we removed this layer. And of course you would want to come in here and fine tune this and make this look really good and not so sketchy as I have it there. And then underneath, if we hide that layer, we have the original layer, which hasn't had any adjustments made to it. And when I overlay the top adjusted layer back in, you can see that it pops, but that background is still desaturated. So keep in mind, as we go through some of these adjustments, it's not only about just adjusting the whole picture as a whole, but being able to adjust different parts of the picture or creating layers and adjusting those layers so that you can get different ways of looking at this photograph and different types of designs.